Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you my 5 best tips to make the most out of your grad school experience as a therapist. I specifically am going to be talking about my experience going through a clinical mental health counseling program, but I do think this video can be applicable if you are in any kind of helping professional programs. So marriage and family counseling, social workers, psychology. I think it applies to all of the things, but I specifically am an LPCC and I went to a clinical mental health counseling program. So if you are new here, hi, my name is Alyssa Powers and I created this YouTube channel to teach you the things that grad school didn't so you can thrive as a mental health professional. Let's get right into the tips. My first tip is to not throw away your notes. I know this sounds so random, but when you're in your undergrad and you're taking all of these classes, like I know I had to take like a religion class, a philosophy class, just things that weren't super applicable to my actual degree. I had an education, a middle school education degree in history and English. And so when I would get done with a class, I would just get rid of all of my notes. And maybe this is like dating me a little bit because I'm sure more things are just completely online now. But I took a lot of paper notes, and at the end of my semester, I would just get rid of everything. But in grad school, you do not want to do that because you are going to be tested on this material at the end of your course. So depending on how your course works, you might have to take kind of like a practice NCE at the end of your coursework that the grad school is like making you take. But also, I think that's called comps. But also, at the end of your program, you need to take the NCE and your core classes like diagnosis, career counseling, skills. There's a couple other ones. They're going to be testing you on that information that you can't just like easily look up anywhere else. I mean, I guess, yes, you could go back through your textbooks, but like who wants to do that? So save your notes, take good notes, and make sure you're setting yourself up to have like some material to look back on when you're studying for your NCE, because I know the NCE has a pretty big focus in career counseling, and like I studied straight from my notes and it was really, really helpful. I will link up in the cards the video that I made about NCE prep because this all kind of relates. But my first tip is don't get rid of your notes when you're done with your semester. My second tip is to make good connections with people in your classes and with your professor, not just because that's like a great thing to do, like a normal adjusted person wants to have good connections with people, but your classmates and even your professors are going to be your referral sources in the future if you do go into private practice, or even if you don't, even if you are working at an agency or working at a small group practice, something like that. You will see that the network of therapists is kind of small, and you want to have good connections with people because eventually they could say, oh, I went to school with this person. I know they were passionate about working with XYZ. Let me give you their info. And it's basically like one prolonged networking event. I hate to like put it that way because I don't want you to feel like you're using people, but you know what I mean? It's just a professional environment, and use your resources. Make friends with the doctorate students, make friends with your professors and the people who like oversee your practicum experience. It can all help you in the long run. Number 3 is to choose your electives wisely. So electives for me, I think we had addictions counseling, couples counseling, family counseling, children and counseling children and counseling adolescents. I want to say those were the 5. I think it's expanded since then, and I can't speak to what your own university's electives will be, but that's basically where you get to pick, I think, 2 or 3 of those classes that are not like mandated by KCREP, like they're not your core classes, they're electives. And I would just say choose electives wisely. Like if you're someone who already knows that you want to work with kids, for instance, then take the class on kids. But I think for me, it was nice to kind of dip my toes in each water. I think I did family counseling, which I would never want to be a family therapist. That sounds insanely hard and like so much work and just a lot of dynamics, but it was good to get the experience and to learn like what internal family systems is and all of that. And then I did addictions, which I'm glad that I did as well. And I want to say I did another one that I can't even remember what it was called, but obviously it didn't stick with me very much. But I would say if you know what you want to do, then by all means go for it. Like if there are clear pathways, but I also think it can be just a fun opportunity to kind of test things out before you're actually working with clients and get some good skills. Like if you're really nervous to work with kids, maybe a class on working with children and adolescents would be good because you'd have more resources and you would have learned more about them. So choose your electives wisely. Number 4 is to get really comfortable with safety planning and dealing with suicidal ideation. If you are in a good grad program, this should be one of their number 1 goals, is to get their students comfortable with safety planning and dealing with suicidal ideation, because it's just a huge part of the job and it's really like the biggest ethical, I don't want to say dilemma, but like ethical issue that we face. Like you have to keep your clients safe. You have to check these boxes. You have to do a safety plan. So your university should be prepping you for that, especially once you start working with clients. Like you should know exactly what to do. You should be able to ask for help. Like we had in our practicum experience, which was the counseling center on campus, we could step out and like conference with someone if we were unsure of what to do. And once you're actually working, like you don't have that. So it's a great opportunity to get very comfortable with safety plans, very comfortable asking the hard questions, and very comfortable basically keeping your clients alive. So take advantage of that. And then last but not least, I would recommend taking advantage of this time as a pre-licensed therapist in grad school to experiment and try new things. I feel like it's a great time because you're learning so much. You're learning the different skills and techniques. You're learning different kinds of therapy models that you can do. I just remember being a lot more adventurous when I first started out. Like I was doing empty chair technique and I was getting into like existential therapy, and I just think it's all fresh in your mind, and it's so good to like figure out what you like and what you don't like based off of experience of trying it with clients. Of course, it has to, fit with the client. You don't want to just be doing techniques out here because you just want to do them. But I think it's a good opportunity because you don't know everything yet. I mean, I've been a therapist for 6 years and I obviously do not know everything, but I do think over time you kind of get comfortable with like the method that has worked for you, and we all gravitate towards like one specific kind of modality as therapists, or like maybe a little collection that we have come up with. So I feel like it's a wonderful thing when you're first starting out to really be more experimental because you have so much more support. Like when I was in grad school, I had, all my classmates, I had someone who oversaw my practicum, I had my internship supervisor, you're around doctorate students. Like there's so many people that you can ask questions towards. And now as a remote part-time therapist that has my own private practice, like I don't talk to anyone outside of my networking meeting with a couple of therapists in the area that meet once a month. That, you know, I am not getting that same experience, obviously. And it's okay. Like, I've done my time and I've had to be supervised when I was just an LPC, and it all makes sense. But I feel like take advantage of being in the learning stage. Like, hopefully, I think imposter syndrome is really hard for therapists, but like, you shouldn't know it all when you're still learning in school. So I hope that this video was helpful. I know I get lots of questions. Oh my gosh, my phone is like, it's trying to slide on down. I hope that this was helpful. I get lots of questions about grad school, and so I thought this would be a good video topic for you because it's so exciting. And I love that if you are looking this kind of content up, like clearly you want to do well, you want to succeed, and I believe in you. I think grad school is really hard, but really, really good, and try and make the most of it because it's a special time where you are learning so much finally about something like very specific. You know, I loved that about grad school. It's not, you're not taking electives that you're never going to use. You're actually learning what you want to learn about, and it's a wonderful thing. So if you like this kind of content, if you are a future therapist, already a therapist, or someone who's just interested in mental health, please like this video and hit that subscribe button. It helps my channel so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.